Hello, in this video we're going to explore Animaker. Animaker is a web-based tool that allows you to create animated videos that can be used for a variety of purposes. Teachers can use Animaker to create informational videos about a topic for students to view, which kind of makes it a little bit more entertaining and maybe tells a story about the topic that you're discussing. Students can also create a video for a performance task, so it can be a project or something that they create to tell the rest of the class about a certain topic. The creator of the video gets a link to that video after they create it that can be shared with others, so it's easy to get the link, share it with others to view the video. To begin, the instructor needs to create their own account, and students would also need to create their own account to make an Animaker. So they would just go to sign up, and they would fill out the information to be able to log in either with their Google account or make their own account. After logging in, you'll choose Create a Video in the top right corner. Then you're going to be asked to pick a template that will just give you a starter. So you can actually edit pretty much everything of the template, but it just wants to give you just a general idea. So I would recommend you change the plan and search by free, because there are premium templates that you can use only if you have a paid subscription. So we'll look only at the free. You can start completely blank, which will give you a completely blank canvas to work with. But again, it might be helpful if you scroll and look and kind of weigh your options on maybe starting with the template. And you can always choose preview to see what that particular one will look like. Some have cartoons, some look more realistic, some involve data. So if you're using data, it might be easy to use those type of things. So you can really pick whichever one you want. And again, you can choose preview to preview what it would look like. When you choose the one that you would like to use, you just click Use. This is the platform that you'll use to create your Animaker video. So in the middle, you have what you're working on, your slides itself. You have kind of a slide sorter over here on the left panel. So as you add slides, you'll be able to see them here. This does have a video element to it, so you can play it and you'll actually be able to see the movements across here like a video. And then you have these over on the right panel, which will help you pick characters, and then you can search by particular types of characters. You can search backgrounds, and you can search by particular backgrounds. You can add text, so different types of text that you can add, special effects you might choose, music that you might choose. So again, this is kind of an editor here that you have as well to be able to pull in different features. So you're going to pull those into your main canvas area, add your text, and then at the bottom you'll be able to see your video. So once you pull in a character, and keep in mind that you only have certain characters that you can use in the free account. If you see this icon, or if you click on one, it'll say like upgrade. That means you can't use it unless you have the paid version. So you just pull and drag them over. Notice that when you drag them over, you get a pop-up over here of different character settings. So you can choose the animation. So maybe they're waving, or maybe they're working at a desk, or maybe they're looking. So you can do different things. You can even swap them for something else. You can even rotate him if you want to. That way he's looking at this instead of that. So you can kind of choose your different things and kind of customize your person. There's lots of different actions they can take as well. So you can have it to where maybe he's pointing and teaching. Maybe he's sitting on a couch. All these different things you can have the person doing. The last icon here is an enter and exit effect. So by default, when the video starts playing, you can kind of think of this as like a slide, but you're gonna have animations down here, so it's gonna make it into an animated slideshow. So do you want this person just to be there when the slide starts, or do you want him to have an entrance effect? So do you want him to blur in, or square in, or circle in, or whiteboard in some capacity? You can determine how you want that person to be able to come in. Additionally, if you want that person to exit at some point, so leave the scene, you can choose how you want him or her to exit. Next, you have the option for adding text, which is over here on the side. You can choose like introductions or call outs, specialty types of text, or you can do text pre-built that are already kind of pre-built, and you just pull them in and use them so that you don't have to write your own text. As you create your text, you can edit it in terms of the fonts, the styles, that kind of thing as well. Also notice some things over here on the side you can use to kind of spice up your slides. If you go to properties, which is this bulb icon, you can choose the different options here and then drag those in. You can also choose the special effects right here, and that will allow you to do different special effects that you can drag on top. And so like I have a special effect going on in my particular one with kind of this shooting look to it, and that's one of the effects within here as well. So keep in mind while you're making slides, so as you're adding a slides here, almost like a PowerPoint, these are going to be animated slides. So notice at the bottom you have like a timeline of where you're editing the effects that are going to happen on your slide. So notice here it looks like a timeline. So first is going to be my entrance effect, then my text is going to show up, then my little boy is going to be added in. And remember when I created him that he is going to actually have, he's going to be drawn on because I had an entrance effect. And then the little dinosaur is going to pop up. So you can choose, if you do this play button, it will actually play the slide itself for you to see thus far what it looks like. So you can see only the little boy had an entrance effect on him. Everything else just popped up as normal. If you want to add a transition on the entire slide, you can do this over here, this transition effects option. It's kind of like a transition on a PowerPoint, and so I could slide that in and have that on my entire slide. But of course, I want to add another scene first. So we're done with our first scene. Now that scene was pretty short because it was just an intro, so I don't need all 10 seconds for that scene. So I'm going to minus some out, and I'm going to make it about 6 seconds. So now I can play it again so you can see what it will look like in its entirety. So it'll play, and then it will just give you a second where it's posted to read the rest of the words. So now you have the option to add a whole new scene or just duplicate a scene, which the scenes are basically the slides. So in this case, I duplicated a scene because I wanted it pretty much the same, but then I just changed my text and added in some more text boxes. So now I've got to do a couple of editing here because obviously they're on top of each other. So the first thing I want to edit is this individual person. So before, if you remember when we made this person, we had him have an entrance effect, but I don't want him to have an entrance effect this time. So I am going to remove that to having no effect. That way he'll just be there when the scene starts. The next thing is that I have two text boxes. I want them to see this text box first, and then I want this one to pop up. Now notice all this is happening very close to each other. So if we play our scene, you'll see it's all happening really close together. So I don't really want that. I want it more spaced out. So I can drag these to move these scenes. So what I do is I click on the type of animation. So we're clicking on the first text here. And notice that it is running from the beginning all the way to the end. This yellow means that it's running from the beginning all the way to the end. So maybe I don't want that to happen. Maybe I don't want this particular text to pop up until after the dinosaur has popped up. And then within that text, I can also come up here and add an entrance effect. So maybe I want it to have like a text swipe feel to it. So then maybe I don't want this, the second text, which is the second one that is there, to even pop up till way later. So maybe I want it to pop up afterwards, and maybe I want it to have a special effect as well. So now I have it to where this original text is going to end at the 3-minute mark, and then the second piece of text is going to open at the 3-minute mark. So when we play the scene, you can see it's kind of got a flip going on. So that is posted first, and then that comes up next. So now I've made my third scene, and I've just pulled in a new background, pulled in my dino from the properties, and added in some coffee, and then I just used a text to create the text and used a speech bubble to create this. So now I have to design when I want all these different things to pop up. So maybe I want the dinosaur to pop up a little bit after the beginning of the scene. So I move him a little bit after, and then I come up here and give him an entrance effect. Maybe also I want the coffee to come in at the same time. So maybe I move the coffee up. So I choose the coffee and move when the coffee is going to come up. So maybe it has an entrance effect as well. Now maybe I want the text to always be there from go, the first text. But maybe the second set of text, I don't want to come in until later in the scene, till you can get a good look at the scene. So maybe I pull it over, I give it an entrance effect, so where maybe it will maybe wipe in. Or you know what, maybe I could do the handwriting to where it handwrites in. So I don't anticipate needing the whole, all 10 seconds, so I might just subtract some out and go to like 7 seconds. So let's play it and see how it looks. So I'm pretty satisfied with that, so we'll go with that one. So now here's our next slide, and it's got a lot going on. So I really want to make sure to make use of the intros and outros so it just isn't confusing to the students. So you build your slide with everything on it that you want for that particular slide, and then you choose your intros and outros to where things kind of come in and come out. So I want the text to already be there. I want these plus sign or the thumbs up buttons to have an effect as they come in. So we'll just let them blur in is fine. So for each of those, I'm just going to let them blur in. So I'm going to set those as an effect individually with having a blur in. And that's going to happen about a second into the slide itself. Okay, so then I'm going to have these word pop-ups. Now, these word pop-ups, I don't want to come until later. So this word pop-up can come in, and let's see, let's let it have an effect, and it can be maybe a whiteboard effect is fine. So maybe it's a whiteboard effect coming in. And then let's see, I want to have my other whiteboard effects come in, so I want it to come in a little bit later. Same thing with the same effect. I just want it coming in a little bit later. And then I would like for my last one to have an effect as well. But I would like for it to come in even later. So I'm staggering when they come in so that the students have time to read them. And I'll come in with my same thing and do my whiteboard effect. Great. And so now we can play it to see if we like it. All right, so here we go. We press play. We see that they're going to blur in. We see that their handwriting is coming in, and then it gives you a second to read it. Great, so I'm happy with that. Okay, so we have a similar one going on with lots of different things on the slide going on, and we want them to move in based upon what's going on. So first, I have the little thumbs ups that I want to come in at a certain time. So I'm going to click on them and move them in to where they don't come in until about the 1 second mark. And then maybe they do have a transition in. So maybe they have an effect where they, I don't know, blur in is fine. And then I'll choose the second one and do the same thing. I'll move it to when they come in. And then I'll do my blur to where they have an entrance effect. And then the next thing is the two sentences. So I don't want those to come in until after the thumbs up. So maybe I'll wait a little while and they come in. And maybe it has an effect there as well. All right, so let's play it to see what we have. Great. All right, now, so the last thing is I want to add those transition ins between my slides like we talked about before. So you can see that there's a no transition between all of my slides at this point, but I can come to transitions, and I can pull them in if I want. So let's maybe do some hand movements. Now maybe I don't want, on certain ones, I don't want a transition. Because if there isn't a transition, it looks more fluid. So maybe I only want a transition when I'm really going to a different scene. So maybe in this case, I want a transition with a hand slide. And then maybe in this case, I want a transition with a hand slide because I'm moving to a totally different type of scene. Now as a final, you can choose to play down here and it will play it scene by scene for you. So you can choose to play and it will play it based upon which scene you had selected. I had scene 7 selected. But I could come back to my slide sorter and choose the first one and play the scene, and it would roll through the entire set scene by scene for you. In addition, you could come up here to the top and preview, and it would let you preview the entire video. Lastly, you can add music to your Animaker video, and you can just come to the music icon. You can search by different type of genre and then play it if you want to and pick it there, or you can actually record your voice. So in cases where you want to have like a voiceover on your video, to where there's not so much text, it's just movement, and you want to add voiceover, you can actually record your voice onto your video. But in this case, I just want to add music. So to add your music, you want to come down here on your timeline and choose the music soundtrack. And that should show all of your scenes. Then you just want to drag and drop it, and then you can choose where you would like for it to be. I would just choose kind of a long track, one that's kind of a longer one, and then that way it would play the same thing throughout your entire scene. You could have it to where maybe some scenes play one music and some scenes play another music, and you could drag it and move it onto what scenes you want it to play in. But it's probably easier to have just the same music consistent throughout the same the whole video. So you would just choose your music icon and then or the music timeline piece, drag and drop it into there, and then it will be added. Then finally make sure to save, and then you'll be able to preview your entire video. Now that you've completed your Animaker video, you can go to your dashboard to be able to view it. So we'll play it. And when we get to this screen, which is going to allow me to play my video and watch my video, I'm just going to grab the URL at the top, and it should have animaker.com in it, and that's going to be the link that I give to students, or I submit, or I post, or whatever I'm going to do. That's the link students would submit if they're making their own. That's what they submit for other people to be able to watch their video, is just grab that URL from their dashboard when they're clicking on their video. And that is how you make an Animaker video.